Hi, I'm Tim Denman, Senior Editor of RIS News, and I'm here at the Retail and Consumer Goods Analytics Summit in Chicago, and I'm joined with Gary Kearns from MasterCard.
Hey Tim, it's great to be here.
Thank you for being here. And Gary was one of our speakers yesterday on the opening day of the summit, and I'd like you, maybe you could just talk for a minute or two about the key points you discussed yesterday.
Yeah, absolutely. So I talked about really understanding the consumer, and as you look at MasterCard, there are over 2 billion MasterCards out there, so we really understand what's happening with consumer purchase behavior. And the theme that I struck yesterday with the audience is, there's all this big data, and people are swimming in big data, and yet they're thirsty because they're not able to turn big data into smart data. So my focus is, how do you understand the data that's going to impact your business, whether it's acquiring new customers, whether it's customer retention, and focus on getting that data, the smart data, and putting that to use.
Now, one of the things you touched on yesterday was the challenges of using unstructured data. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so similar to my comment about the smart data, I think that unstructured data, you can get caught up in weblogs or capturing all the video that's possible. And I think you have to focus on what is the data that's really going to drive your business result. There are certain unstructured data sources like sentiment data, which is very important to understand, and how does that trending information relate to your performance as a business. But you can also get overwhelmed in the unstructured data that really isn't smart data, that really isn't driving your business.
I mean, some people feel like the term big data is getting a little bit boring, but it's still emerging, this idea, right? So you talk a little bit about, what's next year, what's the year after, what's the future with big data and analytics particularly?
Yeah, well, to your point about unstructured data, think about the Internet of Things now, where my refrigerator is going to be capturing all this data, and my thermostat in the house, and my car and everything. So I think that as you look at the data sources and the data volume and the velocity, it's only going to get worse. And you talk to most executives, they have data, but their challenge is, are they using it in key business decisions? So I think as the volume of data continues to explode, again, that focus on smart data, what's the data that's going to drive my business, whether it's transaction data, whether it's a 360-degree view of your customer, it's really that information that's going to enable me to make decisions about, how do I interact with Tim? What offers do I make to Gary? How do I get Gary to be a more loyal customer? I think that's the key, is to, in this increasing volume of data, how you find the data that's going to drive your business results.
Okay, great. Gary, once again, I thank you for coming to the event and speaking. It was a great presentation.
Thank you, Tim. Great to be here.